of Duty has been a staple of a November release date for as long as I can remember. 10 plus years of being the first week of November or the second week of November. No Call of Duty has come out before that or after that ever since Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Now if we fast forward to modern time 2018, we have our first Call of Duty that is bucking the trend, and not just any Call of Duty. It's one of the most successful franchises in Call of Duty history, the Black Ops franchise, and that's what we're going to discuss in this video right now. What up everybody, it's your boy Gaming Forte, back at it with another video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, it definitely helps out the channel a lot. And yes, unless you've been somewhere underneath a rock somewhere, you have heard that Call of Duty Black Ops 4 has now been announced. The first time we're going to see anything about this game other than the teaser trailer that I'm showing on the screen right now will be at its community reveal event, which will be May 17th. Now that's not too out of place. Sometimes they're in April, I've seen them in May before, but the one real key factor is the fact that this game is releasing on October 12th, which is almost a full month around the time that the game would actually launch in a given year. Now over the course of like the last 10-15 years, Call of Duty has been the game that everybody wanted to avoid. You don't want to come out right next to Call of Duty, you don't want to come out day and date with that game. Any game that comes out around Call of Duty gets swallowed up by just the massive frenzy of people that just like to buy this game. Now that's not to say that there can't be any outliers, because there have been games that have released around Call of Duty and have performed very well. Let's turn our attentions to EA and the Battlefield franchise. They have been selling that game very successfully, either within a week of Call of Duty or a week after Call of Duty. That game is a staple of also around that timeline, so it's another game that a lot of people like just try to avoid, because these two games together eat up a lot of market share just in the shooter genre, and ultimately that doesn't leave any money for any other games. Take Titanfall 2. The game had a very good single player, a refined multiplayer, better in every way than the first game, but it launched in between Call of Duty and Battlefield 1, and look what that game has actually done. That game has never recovered and actually became the game it should have became in the eyes of the gamers out there that didn't get a chance to play it, because all that money got sucked up by Battlefield and Call of Duty. So really the taking point away from this all is the fact that it takes a game with a really big name to go against other big name games. Halo was one of those titles that was able to do that over the course of many years, but has definitely fallen in favor with a lot of gamers just because they don't like the direction of the story. They taken Master Chief out of the timeline and placed them with different people that you actually play with through single player campaigns, and that's not what Halo people want. They want the story of John Spartan 117, and they're not getting that on a consistent basis, and that's why the actual numbers suffer on that game. And honestly, Halo has never really been that big game that was going to sell in November. It was always a September title. All the way up into Halo 3, Bungie was the one that released those games, and if you can tell by the timeline that Bungie releases their games every year now, it's always in September. That hasn't changed with Destiny and Destiny 2 and any major expansion they've done with that. It just seems like September has always been a really good time to actually get that game out the door, and ever since Microsoft taking over the reins of the game, it seems like they feel like it should be able to sell in November amongst all the bigger dogs, which it should be able to, but it just hasn't lived up to the expectations over the last few years that Halos before that, which released in September, did. So now we come to how this is going to impact 2018 and all the games that's coming out this year. So we already know there's a new Battlefield 5 that's coming out this year. More than likely that game's going to release in October. We also know that there's a little title called Red Dead Redemption, who is made by Rockstar, makers of the Grand Theft Auto franchise, and that's a title that a lot of people want to stay away from, and it's not because it's named Red Dead, it's because it's made by Rockstar, and people are really scared of Rockstar games when they come out, because Rockstar sells millions upon millions upon millions. They break charts, they chart every year, they chart every month. Grand Theft Auto is still charting literally over 7 years after the game has released, and it doesn't show any instance of slowing down. And there are going to be a lot of people that are going to move over from Grand Theft Auto 5 to Red Dead Redemption. And with this game having a so-called BR Battle Royale mode in it, depending on how good it does, man, that could be a disaster for every game that's coming out this holiday season. Now, Call of Duty has been on the decline for the last 6 years. Over the last year, it's seen huge growth because they went back to World War II with boots on the ground, and that's what the community wanted overall. But ultimately, do we know if this is going to be a sustainable model for Call of Duty going forward. People always say, when is the death of Call of Duty going to be? And then every year they push it off to the side and say, let's go to the next year. One day that's not going to happen, and this could honestly be that year. Black Ops 4 is a big name. They're throwing out the big gun on this one, but the Battlefield's coming out this year, and you also had that Red Dead game out there amongst all the other games that's coming out this year that we don't know are going to be announced this holiday season. So in my opinion, I believe Call of Duty moved up their date just because they wanted to get out of the way of Rockstar a little bit, but I also feel like it gives them a little bit more of a comfort space to actually know that they can get a little bit more sales early in October, because I don't think any game in the beginning of October is going to really threaten them, and I believe they'll get a lot of their sales at the beginning of the month versus waiting to the end when Rockstar brings out Red Dead Redemption and they start eating up all the rest of those sales at the end of October going into November. So it's going to be a really interesting end of the year. A lot of games are going to come out, a lot of games are going to do well, but a lot of games really are not going to do too well based on the lineup of games coming out this holidays. Let's see exactly which ones survive. Do you think that Call of Duty is going to be one that's going to survive through it? I know it's going to survive, but is it going to survive with the numbers that we expect it to survive, being a big title like Black Ops 4? What about Battlefield 5? Is that game going to take a dip this year? Basically just like Titanfall did, because it's coming out probably smack dab in two of the biggest games that ever come out between Red Dead Redemption and Call of Duty Black Ops 4? I don't know. I already know that Rockstar's not going to fail, because failing for them is like literally only selling like 40 million copies of a game versus Call of Duty's probably going to top out around 25 to 30 million. So if Rockstar sells less than 40, they still sold more than Call of Duty, and that's really still winning in my book. So ultimately, don't know what's going to happen. Definitely want to hear from you guys down in the description down below and in the comment section. Let's have a conversation about it. Which games do you think going to come in first, second, and third place? Do you think it's going to be Rockstar, Call of Duty, then Battlefield 5? That's the order that I'm going with. What order will you go with? But like I always say, guys, thanks for watching this video. Sub to the channel if you haven't. Like this video if you like the content. It definitely helps out the channel a lot. Turn on those notifications. Gonna let you know the next time one of my videos go live. It's your boy Gaming Forte. You guys have a great week, and I'm gonna talk to you in the next video. Peace.